Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Women's Fittest. I came across a story on Instagram that I had been wondering about for some time. I'm actually probably kind of late to the game, but I wanted to do a quick video. I'm going to post this on my YouTube. I will post this on my podcast. I'm not sure how much attention I should give to this, but I wanted to just address it because it's just deplorable. So back in, I want to say it was 10 months ago. So whatever that was, I did an interview with Lydia Knoll. It was towards the beginnings of the podcast, and that has now been removed from the queue from my podcast episodes. But so it turns out, according to quite a bit of investigative information from a couple of different platforms, that Lydia Knoll was in fact faking cancer. And I did an interview with her about being a bodybuilder and bodybuilding while having cancer. And I have to say that I was questioning things a bit and was kind of curious about the whole situation, especially when you know how difficult it is to be training, as hard as someone like her is, and being able to retain the amount of muscle mass that she was. Those were a couple of things that I was curious about, how she was able to keep going through chemotherapy. There were other things I thought. I actually Googled things a couple of times because it just seemed like her symptoms and the side effects were not the same as what I had seen with people who have gone through cancer and chemotherapy. And I know this, I've had, our neighbor for a while was going through cancer. She had lung cancer. She's a single mom. She ended up passing away. This is the woman that they had a dog that she couldn't walk in the morning, and her son was a little bit younger. And so Anna would wake up every morning. When we found out she had cancer, Anna got up before school every morning to walk her dog for her. And then during 2020, she ended up getting pneumonia, and then she was in the hospital and she ended up just dying. Like, she was actually doing pretty well, and then she ended up dying from pneumonia very, very quickly. But anyways, back to Lydia. There were things that I was absolutely questioning, and this makes me obviously I have conflicted feelings, because me wondering if there was something deceitful going on, and then knowing that there was gives me some sort of reassurance, but I'm also disgusted because I know my daughter's best friend's mom died of breast cancer. I know so many people who have suffered through cancer and have died of cancer, or who are struggling with it right now. My dad, he made it through prostate cancer. It's crazy to me, and this is very sick. And so I went back because I deleted the podcast, but then I went back to YouTube, and then I just saw in the last 6 days that people had commented on my YouTube video, and I'm going to remove this YouTube video. I did respond to these people because I do not want you to think that I'm trying to elevate or support someone who is obviously doing something or done something just so nefarious. And I know that she was working with John Jewett for a while. I don't know why that discontinued, but then she was picked up by Liv Roth and Hunter Labrada, and was flown out there. And I know she was getting a lot of things, but like I said, it never seemed like, that she was as tired as someone who I know who is going through chemotherapy. And I know just in real life, I felt like I was more exhausted than she was. But now her Instagram pages are completely gone. And I don't follow this guy, but it's Goob You, and he exposes a lot of fraud in fitness industry as far as like photoshopping and that type of thing. But just, I guess trying to be a moral compass a little bit for some of this stuff. But and I don't follow him, and I'm not even sure why I had looked on his page, but then they just did this story. So anyways, these comments on the YouTube video, somebody said, terrific story of lies, how horrible and disgusting. And somebody said, do you feel bamboozled that this girl faked her entire cancer story? Which like I said, I did reply to these people. I like to try to see the best in people. And when I was watching her, I was like, wow, this girl is really putting a lot of effort into bodybuilding while she's going through cancer. And maybe this is helping her be strong for cancer. But on the same note, when you're that broken by chemotherapy, your body is not going to have the energy even for these type of uplifting things like bodybuilding. And I was kind of floored and also concerned that it wasn't true at the same time. My other thought, especially right towards in the last month or so, kind of watching month to month, watching her story, I just thought, there was a couple of moments where they were like, oh, I'm not sure she's going to make it. She said that I'm not sure. They told me I'm not even sure I'm going to make it to the end of the year. Or whatever the time frame was. Like there was a good chance that she was going to die. And I thought, yeah, every day you're posting on social media about your current physique update and trying to get more clients. I thought it's going to be really hard for you to get clients if you can't even guarantee that you're going to be able to continue coaching them, or that you're going to be able to do check-ins and all this stuff. So, and then this guy pointed out that there was no port for where she was getting chemo, which I believe my neighbor had it, like sort of collarbone. I know my brother had to do this too for, what's it called? His kidneys failed. So he had, it is failing me right now what the words were, dialysis. My brother had dialysis, so they put a port first, a shunt up here by his collarbone, and then he had they fused two veins together in his forearm to do that there, and then he ended up getting a kidney transplant from my mom. But anyways, same thing. Like that part I didn't even think of. I was thinking of how her hair was growing back like stubble, and that doesn't happen when you lost your hair. And cancer patients, their hair grows back like fuzz first, and usually that hair falls out before like the real hair that's going to stick comes in, kind of like how that happens with babies too. A lot of times babies' first hair that they have when they're born falls out. So how do you feel that she lied about having cancer? Disgraceful, yikes, a fraud. Someone said her body language is so off, and somebody else said disgusting. And I agree with all of you. Like this is, like I said, I mean, cancer, faking cancer, I don't even have words. So, I mean, yes, of course, this video is going to be removed from my YouTube. The interview on the podcast is going to be removed. And I just want you to know that I obviously do not condone this behavior. I do think that it is deplorable. And, I like to think that, I like to find the best in people. Everyone who comes on here has a story, and I'm sure that there's a little bit of fiction to anything that somebody says, because it's your opinion. But when you are actually living a full-fledged lie, it's very sad. So anyways, I just wanted to apologize to the listeners and to everyone who, I want you to know that I am not supporting this behavior, and this is going to be the end of it. I'm going to just let it go, and whatever happens with her happens with her. I know people have faked cancer and have gotten fiscal gains out of that and have been prosecuted and gone to jail about that. And I think, for as many people and lives who are affected by cancer in a obviously negative manner, then, this is a slap in the face to those people. And I just wanted to be clear. I just came across this and I was going to go to the gym and I thought, nope, I'm going to make this video just to say, you know what? Obviously, I don't support this. I don't condone this. And I don't know the backgrounds of all of my my athletes that I interview on this podcast. Obviously, I try to bring out the best in people and I like to hear their stories. And some of you know people on a different level or have had poor interactions with people and might not agree, might not like somebody, might not think that this is really who they are. But for the most part, I am just presenting a chat that I have with people that I find interesting, that I want to know their opinions about things. I want to know their backstory, and they're involved in this industry. So I obviously made a poor choice here, which at the time, I don't know if I was very much questioning. And then I just never really thought about it too much. I would see her. I didn't really think about her interview being something like that was associated with this podcast and the integrity of this podcast. So I just want to be very, very clear that this does not represent me. Like I said, I'm usually intrigued when I pick someone to interview, and I don't always know where the interview is going to go or what's going to be said, or if information is going to come out later that they were lying or whatever. Up until this point, I have been pretty lucky with things, but just wanted to take a minute to clear this up. So again, y'all, I thank you so much for supporting the podcast. And, I'll do my best to try to keep the integrity of the podcast. And I just want to encourage you to listen to everything with a grain of salt and try to find the best in people. But obviously, a story like this, it just gets flipped on its tail as being a complete and total lie, really says a lot about the person, and I do not want to be associated with that. So anyways, I just want to say thanks again for your love and support, and even bringing this to my attention. I don't really have my YouTube notifications on, so I don't always see all this stuff. But, if you ever hear anything, you feel like I need to know about something. I know some of you have messaged me about certain people. Oh, well, I don't really like this person or whatever. I know people who don't like me also. And it's because we've had, we've had a poor interaction of some sort. And you know what, people aren't always who they were. And I like to, like I said, like to find the best in people. And you know what, you don't have to like every interview, you don't have to like every person, but I think we're all on the same page about this behavior. And I wanted to just clarify. So anyways, have a great day. Thanks for listening to this and understanding where I'm coming from. And maybe I didn't need to clarify, or maybe I didn't need to bring this to anyone else's attention any further. But I feel like I try very hard to be a person of integrity. And I think it was important to address briefly. So I did. So anyways, all right. Have a great day, everybody. Remember that healthy looks different on everybody.